NPR network. I am here today. Originally, we were here to talk about the Wonder Woman movie and all of the awesomeness, and you will hear that in a second. But we recorded that before the Black Panther trailer dropped. So I just had to get the doctor to come on here with me and talk a little bit about that Black Panther trailer. Because inevitably, when you talk about the Amazons, you also have to talk about Black Panther and the Dora Milaje. And I realized that our conversation basically happened before this trailer dropped. And we were talking all this stuff about, like, I wonder what, and I wonder what. And then we saw it, and I'm like, well, we have to talk about it now. So I have the doctor here with me. What were your thoughts about the Black Panther trailer? As if I don't know, because we've been like tweeting about it nonstop.
I loved it. It is a teaser, so let's start there. It is just a teaser because my son loved it, but his whole thing was like, I don't know what's going on. I was like, that's because it's a teaser. You get a bit of a glimpse, but it's just a glimpse into the world. It's not going to tell you everything you need to know, nor should a trailer tell you everything you need to know. That's what you pay to go see the movie for. Of course, everyone had to drop their, Hot 16 take about a comic they know nothing about. And I don't claim to be an expert on the Black Panther comics or in a trailer. We'll set that aside. What I will say is that I find it interesting. Like, yes, we have to talk about the Dora Milaje and the Amazons. That said, I'm not so comfortable with the comparisons between Wonder Woman and Black Panther because Black Panther is steeped in that culture. It's steeped in blackness. Wonder Woman is not. So I went into that movie not necessarily expecting to see a multicultural Themyscira, but that we got it was cool. And that was enough for me.
So similarly, I was incredibly excited to see it. I thought visually stunning. The music, I don't know how you don't shake your butt when that Run the Jewels beat drops. It's just amazing. But what's so funny to me in the critiques or the, commenting that I've seen is like, we got more Black women in the Black Panther trailer than we got in all of Wonder Woman, or we got more Black women in the Black Panther trailer than all of the MCU. And my whole thing is, you should.
Right.
It's Black Panther.
Right, what did you expect?
They're like, more Black people in Black Panther trailer than we've seen in the entire MCU. It's set in Africa. If it didn't, that would be the weird thing. Like, let's not act like the majority of the Marvel universe isn't white people. It is. So the one place where you should see them, it's the same thing like Luke Cage when that dropped. And everybody's like, oh my God, this is so Black. This is so Black. This is so Black. It is a story about a superhero who lives in Harlem. It better be Black.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just the be all end all of it, is that it should be. To compare the, what we saw of the Dora Milaje in the Black Panther trailer to Wonder Woman is a false equivalency. It just is. So and you'll hear it in our review, while we do critique some of the, representation of Black women in the Wonder Woman film, I was more than satisfied. Like, what I hope that, eventually Nubia comes in or any, yeah. But I was not expecting Themyscira to be an island of Black lesbians.
No.
And if you were going into it expecting that, then that's on you. I've seen also like critiques. I know the big one that's been going around is the Son of Baldwin one. And
I like Son of Baldwin, don't get me wrong.
I do. I felt the same way about his critiques of Luke Cage. Mm-hmm. And he talked a lot about how, like, oh, it's all about respectability politics. And I was like, no, Luke is, because he's a Southern Baptist preacher's kid who came to New York, and he says yes ma'am and no sir. Of course he doesn't like when people say nigga. But you know how many people said nigga in that show and it wasn't a big deal? Like, so it's these false equivalencies of like, oh, it's all about respectability politics because Luke doesn't say nigga. No, they're showing different representation. There's plenty of people, both bad and good, who use that word, and it's the same thing here, where I'm seeing like people be like, oh, the first black woman that we see on Themyscira is Diana's tutor. She's nothing but a mammy character.
She's an educator.
I'm like, she's her tutor.
And one of the senators was a couple of the senators on Hippolyta's council were black women. I want to say it was Antiope's second in command for training, a black woman. Oh.
So it's just this kind of idea. I think some people are just not going to be satisfied, and it's fine. I think we should critique in order to push things to where we do want to see them, but not every black woman that you see in a film or on television who has a student teacher or, mentoring position is a mammy. Not every, not every black woman. I saw people saying that because I can't remember the character's name. The warrior who was like really thick and strong and big. They were they were like, oh, that's just another example of how like strong black women who are workhorses. And I'm like, or they're showing a diverse island with lots of different body types, different types of warriors, and one of the strongest women happens to be a black woman.
But can we go here? Do we expect the islands of... I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I love Sarah Michelle and her husband, so don't take this way. Did we expect an island of Buffys, like 5'1", 80-pound girls? Mm-hmm. Come the fuck on.
Like, I was happy to see a really big, strong black woman.
I was happy to see me on that screen, okay?
Yeah. It reminded me of, like, an Amanda Waller, like what I imagine Amanda Waller to look like in real life, So, it was this very weird, because I remember people critiquing about the fact that, like, Amanda Waller, by casting Viola Davis, they had slimmed her down, and she's always been a thick woman, and now we get a thick woman, and it's like, oh, just another strong black woman trope, and I'm just like...
And that's why I can't listen to it anymore. I can't listen to it anymore. Y'all are just trying to get paid, and I'm not giving you that ad click revenue. The other thing that I saw going around, hold your opinions, and that's all good. This whole, that's more feminist than Wonder Woman. Number one, I don't recall this being marketed as this feminist icon. Is she seen as a feminist icon? Sure. But it was marketed as Wonder Woman's origin story. Number two, it was 2 minutes. It was teaser. You don't know what's going on in that movie. We might get to... I have great expectations for this movie, and I think it's going to be great. That said, I'm waiting for February 17th when all the think pieces are going to like, well, black women were sidelined. I'm like, y'all, stop it. Just stop. Can't we... Stop this culture that we have of hot takes and I got to get my clicks by being contrary. I need it to stop. It is exhausting to see through my timeline. It's just stop it.
Yeah. If you guys want a more thorough breakdown of the trailer, I believe EW did an interview with Ryan Coogler where he actually like goes through and they ask him questions like, here we see this. And he's like, oh, that's, he gives a more in-depth of the whole minute and 50 some seconds. It's obviously filled with spoilers. If you're like, I'm good, I'm ready, I don't even need another trailer, I would suggest not reading that. But if you want to go in and kind of find out what he's pulling from and what he's drawing from and what possibly might be the good guys and the bad guys and all that kind of stuff, I would suggest reading that. But other than that, a lot of these hot takes, y'all can keep them.
For real.
I'm partying. I'm still partying off of Wonder Woman.
Right. I went yesterday and saw it. Yep. And I might go a third time while you playing.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out. I was like, maybe I could do it today. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out my schedule, but party, y'all. Enjoy. Maybe what'll happen is when I come to DC, we'll go see it again.
There you go. And here's the thing, folks. Be glad that you have movies that you can write all these hot takes about. they couldn't be doing it. They could just say, screw it, we're not doing this at all. We're not doing Wonder Woman. We're not doing Black Panther. Just be happy that, and I'm not saying just take any old shit. I'm not saying that. I swear, everything you say can be twisted.
Mm-hmm.
Lord.
And like, as you said it, you heard, you're like, they're going to say
I heard it, and I knew where folks were going to go next. It's like, we are in the golden age of movies and television, and it won't be perfect. But let's have fun where we can. There was so much beautiful blackness, and let's just be happy. Yeah. And then if it's shit, we will tear it up when it airs. But I trust Ryan Coogler. Didn't he do Creed?
Yes. He did Creed.
He did a fantastic job with Creed. Yeah. I trust him.
And he knows how to surround himself with a lot of women, especially Black women, as his cinematographers, as his directors of photography, as his designers. I had a moment, I was listening to Fat Man on Batman, and Mark Bernardin was talking about the fact that both Ava DuVernay and Ryan Coogler are both on the Disney lot right now editing A Wrinkle in Time and Black Panther, and the fact that those two can like walk over to each other's trailers and just talk about what they're doing and scenes and stuff. Like, that's amazing. That is mind-blowing. These two independent Black filmmakers who are now doing two of Disney's biggest budget films of 2018. Mm-hmm. That is amazing. Like, that is something to celebrate. And that's really where I think I'm at. Like, we have to celebrate these things. And also, it's not even that they won't be perfect, but everybody's idea of what perfect is different. I don't think every single Black character can be the hero, can be the above board, perfect, complex. Like, not every single Black character can be that. But we can definitely push to have as many as possible. Mm-hmm. And we can definitely say we're tired of white guys always being the hero.
Yeah.
But your idea of what a perfect portrayal is different.
And that's what this movie is giving us. It's giving us a hero, but it's giving us some complicated people as well.
Mm-hmm. So I'm really excited for Black Panther. We're going to transition into the Wonder Woman review, which is myself, the Doctor. We have LaToya, and our special guest, who's Joy from Black Girl Nerds. We called ourselves the MTR Amazons. Maybe that'll change to the MTR Adored Ones. That's what Dora Milaje stands for. So we'll see how that changes over time. But right now we're the MTR Amazons. So I hope you enjoy our review of Wonder Woman. Let us know what you think about the Black Panther trailer, although I'm sure you already have on Twitter. And thanks for listening. Welcome to the MTR Network. I am Shanna, and I am joined by a cadre, a legion of women today to discuss the film that everybody is talking about right now. So much so that I think by the time this is done, there'll be like 3 different audio reviews on the network for this movie. I am joined by the Doctor. Say hello.
Hola.
Joy, who is joining us from Black Girl Nerd.
Y'all thought I only go on Chris's show. You would be wrong.
I know, we finally got her. I had to actually send a message to Chris and be like, wait, are you going to have Joy on? Because I was going to ask Joy.
The plan is that I'm still doing the spoiler review with Chris as well unless that has changed and you just told me and broke the bad news.
No, you can totally do both. But I was like, can I ask her?
Listen, I'm always down. I'm usually always podcasting with a lot of men when I'm on the MTR network, so I'm glad to be a guest with the MTR Amazons today. So I'm with that.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay, new name. And our final guest is also part of the MTR network. You may have heard her on Secret Sauce, which is our brand new show. We have the lovely LaToya joining us today.
Hi, y'all.
And we are here to discuss the one, the only Diana Prince, Wonder Woman, the most amazing film to come out in 2017 so far.
And the most amazing film DC will probably ever give us.
Yes. Oh my God.
Probably.
Yeah, we will get into
Everyone
details about
shed
that.
a tear for the most amazing film that DC has ever done. And still, that's a pretty low bar. So it's not like Diana had to hop
Right.
over a lot to get there, but
No.
Right,
it's
and we'll go into details about that, like, in our review, but I will say this, I'm gonna be the bearer of bad news. If y'all think that Justice League is about to come off the train with this heat, you are sorely mistaken.
oh
Don't
no.
get your hopes up.
Who thinks
No
that?
one's here for that. No one is here for that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to skip
No
right
one
over
believed
that
that.
and go to Aquaman.
No, seriously, who thinks that?
No, I know we don't think that, but there are definitely people who are like, oh, this is a solid movie, like, oh, they got the momentum, and I'm like, ooh, but you think you got the juice, but you actually don't.
If anyone is thinking that Justice League is going to be as good as Wonder Woman, I have two words for you. Patty Jenkins.
Yep.
Patty Jenkins is the only.
That's right.
She de-Snydered that movie. And,
Yep.
you know, prayers to Snyder and his family for what they are going through. But you could tell when the Snyder elements came in, and I was just like, oh, they're about to Snyder it up right now. And I zoned out for a while. I'm not even going to lie.
I'm waiting. If they make a Patty Jenkins extended universe, I'm here. I'm here in President. But other than that, I'm really good on the DCU right now.
So first thing I want to get is everybody's impressions, but also how did you watch the film?
I watched it in 2D at a theater with leather reclining seats. I haven't been a fan of 3D since Jaws 3, and I know that's dating myself.
Well, God, dog. Not Jaws 3.
I tried it with Avatar, and I think it's because I don't have astigmatism or anything like that, but I've got a condition that's a bit genetic in my family where one of the muscles in one of our eyes stops working so well.
Mm-hmm.
So 3D just does not get it done for me at all. I just can't do it.
Okay.
I watched it. I'm gonna flex a little bit. I watched it twice. Once with so if you guys have been following any of the coverage we've been doing on Black Girl Nerds for Wonder Woman, I did the on-camera interviews. So the day before we were doing on-camera interviews with the cast of Wonder Woman, they showed us a screening of it. So I saw it that time, and then so that was the WBLA office. At my day job, that's outside of what I do for BGN and podcasting. I had a plug at WB New York, so I saw a screening with them the day before. So that's how I saw it.
You're based in New York, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
so did you go out to LA just for the interviews?
I did.
Oh my
I
gosh.
definitely took an early morning flight on Friday, and I was on a red eye Saturday.
Oh,
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of you, by the way. Just
Super jelly. Yeah.
so jealous.
Please don't. This is like one of these situations where I like really shot my shot and was like, put me in, coach. Like, I've been tweeting about this since February. Just please let me go. And so they let me go.
Well, I saw it twice. I saw it in 3D once, and yeah, that was really good. But I don't think you need to see it in 3D. And then I saw it in I don't know, is that 2D, the regular version? I saw it that way yesterday. So in leather reclining seats. Thank you so much.
So I still have only seen it once just because I haven't had time to go see it for a second time. I'm looking into that now, though, because that's definitely going to happen. I prefer to see things in IMAX 2D, but that it's very rare that IMAX will give that to me if there's a 3D option. So instead what I did was Friday night, I went with my friend and her daughter who's just turned 9. And it was the three of us, so all ladies. And she had on the full Wonder Woman outfit with the gauntlets and her sword. She was the most adorable thing I've ever seen. And it was the three of us together watching it in this theater in Oakland, which is actually kind of an old school theater. So they actually opened up the show with somebody playing the Wurlitzer.
Nice.
Like an old white guy playing the Wurlitzer in this huge theater. It was a lot of fun. It was a super packed theater too. I was so impressed. because the way people were talking, you would think nobody was coming out to see this movie.
Oh no, I saw the numbers. They came.
Yeah.
They came, but I understand why WB did what WB does, which is if it's not a white cishet male helming it, they didn't give it the support it deserved earlier on. I think that movie performed in spite of what WB, not in because. Not
no, you're so right. You're so right about that. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you've seen a lot of our tweets, and I can only speak for me in particular, my tweets, I think a lot of us have been tweeting about the lack of marketing push that it has for Wonder Woman. I do marketing in my day job, and they pushed all of their marketing to May. So they heavy loaded it to the last month before the film came out. Mm-hmm. Everybody saw the writing on the wall, and everybody saw the signs. WB definitely mucked this up in terms of like not giving it the attention it deserves. And even like they gave more of a push from King Arthur, which is also a WB film. I saw major billboards for King Arthur more so than I saw from Wonder Woman until like the last month. And that film did terribly. So y'all could have just saved, you could have added that money on to the Wonder Woman budget. And it's already been well documented that the budget that Wonder Woman received overall was less than her DCEU counterparts, which we'll go into like more in terms of like our likes and dislikes, could have went a long way in certain aspects of the film. Yeah. So in spite of all of those snafus and issues, because even in 2017, it's like this, like women are weird, like, oh, they're a thing that like buys movie tickets for comic books, ? Like,
I wonder about that. Yeah.
I think going back to the marketing piece, it kind of shocked me that not even on the CW shows, we didn't start seeing the tie-in. I want to say until about episode 18 or 19 of Supergirl, they would show Kara's boots as she was walking in her Supergirl outfit, and then intersperse some of the pieces from Diana walking in Wonder Woman. But like I said, that was 18 episodes into the season.
And isn't
Linda Carter's on the show too?
I was supposed to say,
yeah,
she
exactly.
On the show?
Yeah, she plays the president.
She's the president of the United States. Yeah.
Yeah. For 38. So you would think, but nope.
Yeah. Well, despite all that, they still made over $200,000 this weekend.
Million.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sorry, million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, girl.
I think their weekend box office in the U.S. I think was 100.3, which I know probably made Chris happy because he feels like if it makes less than $1 million, I'm going to lose my mind. Like I'm going to lose my shit if it makes less than 100 million. So it made 100.3, which I think all of us are happy with. Obviously, if it was a larger number, that would be more ideal. But I do think with this film in particular, it's because it's gotten so many overall positive reviews, it's not going to have the DC 2-week drop off, which typically all the other DCUs of the past would have a strong opening weekend, stronger than Wonder Woman, but dramatically drop in sales because of the reviews.
I mean, I'm literally looking at movie times right now, like, when can I go on Saturday morning? Like, so.
I wasn't expecting a call from my kid. Me and my other kid, that would have went right before that.
Yeah,
but
no.
I didn't want to have to get up and leave the theater, and I didn't want to ignore his call. And I was like, oh, them some hard choices. Let me just go on and stay home tonight.
I recommend everybody see it twice, to be honest, because I think the first time, if you're particularly a woman of color, where we all probably have the same experiences of kind of getting beat over the head of what we like or dislike, and people trying to dictate what our interests are, especially when it comes to like the comic and comic book film world. So I think sitting in that seat the first time, I was just so relieved coming out being like, my God, this is not trash. Thank you, Jesus. The second time really helped me soak in what I really liked and what were my real critiques.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like when I saw it the second time, there were so many things that I picked up, especially about the women of color. So I'm going to, talk about it a little bit later, but yeah, you definitely need to see it twice.
Yeah, and we were just talking about that fall off slump as we're sitting here on the phone, seeing if there is a time tomorrow. And no, unless I want to be in I got to look up Steve Trevor's shirt. There are no seats available tomorrow.
Good, but I'm happy about that though. That means people are still watching it. That's great. That's great.
Which is sad though, because it's $6 tomorrow at the schmaltzy theater.
Listen, listen. So my nearest theater, if you guys are not familiar with this, because I don't know where everybody else is based. So I'm based in New York. I'm born and raised in New York. I talk about New York pretty often in the podcast I'm in. BX all day, throw up the X. But I live in Harlem, so my closest theater is the Magic Johnson Theater.
Oh God.
Which is a ball of fun. Listen, the best time you could ever go to, the best experience I've ever had at the Magic Johnson Theater is I saw Get Out.
Oh, nice. That's a great one to go see
that was a magical Negro time. Like, oh man, it just was a beautiful experience. So I bought a ticket matinee, because that's what I usually do. I'll watch my films matinee at the Magic Johnson Theater at like 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, because that shit is like $7, and I'm like, I can afford $7. But yeah, no, like, just go to your local theater, do matinee. You're still contributing to the money, but shit is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to go to a couple of movies, so I'm always on $5. There's $5 Sunday, $5 Tuesday nights, and then if I do the IMAX thing, I'm first thing in the morning getting that matinee price on the weekend.
Yeah, smart idea.
Yep. It's hard out here. I mean, I love my movies, but I go see them like 2 or 3 times, so they get my money. They get my money. Like Black Panther is fitting to get. Oh my gosh! Do you guys listen to Fat Man on Batman?
No, I've
never heard of it.
It's Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin.
Oh, I didn't know they had a podcast. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good.
I had to ease off on listening to them because I keep forgetting that they get early screeners and they have the access to what was happening. I was listening. I was getting spoiled on stuff.
I know.
I had to ease back off of listening to them, and I've got a whole bunch of backlogged episodes.
Oh, no.
That I'm going to listen to. But sometimes I'm thinking, oh, they're just going to talk about this thing. And it's like, oh, and this exciting thing happened. And it's like, no, you're going to spoil. It's like, oh, guys, stop.
Well, their Wonder Woman review is full of spoilers, but the thing that Mark Bernardin said is he said he was in this film and he was just watching, and there's like these women and these Amazons, and there are all these like women of color amongst the Amazons and all this other stuff, and he was like, he got so emotional and he started crying, and then he was like, and all that says is that when Black Panther comes out, I am going to be mush. And when he said that, I was like, oh my God. Because I sent Chris a message like a week ago where I was just like, wait, do you think at San Diego they're going to show us a Black Panther trailer?
Of course.
And he was like, yeah, probably. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm going to die.
Oh, yeah, Sean, you're going to lose your shit. Let me tell you, because what I will say about Marvel, they know where the money is. The money is with Black women, because they have definitely been teeing up that Dora Milaje merchandise on the lowest of keys. That shit ain't coming out until next year. And they've already given y'all little tidbits and previews at the wrap party of some of the Black women extras in the Dora Milaje gear. Like, when I tell you we're about to get all of the Dora Milaje merchandise, get ready for the tears.
Oh, I'm excited.
You guys, like, seriously, like, my heart just started fluttering. Oh, it's gonna be everything. It's gonna be everything, you guys. Like, okay, so what was the moment that made you cry? Because I know all of us have a moment, or at least tear up.
Cried that whole movie. Let me tell you something. When I saw Baby Diana, I teared up.
Oh, yes.
When I saw Antiope training folks and training Baby Diana, I teared up. When Antiope, because I know I read an article where they had hired some, I think it's MMA or UFC fighters to also be Amazon stand-ins, not like doubles, like on screen. So when Sister Girl, oh my God, when she shot that arrow and flew off that cliff and started shooting arrows, just about everything, but the tears literally fell when she stepped on the no man's land.
Ugh.
When Steve was like, no, we gotta go, and she was like, I got work to do, and she takes off her coat and she steps on that field like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Takes her hair down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Gal Gadot, like, she needs to pay her hairdresser extra, because every scene, her hair was like perfectly waved. She had the Beyonce fan going that like where Beyonce's hair always looks like it's blowing. She had that. It was ridiculous. For me, the moment that made me cry was when Antiope, when she did that spin and shot the 3 arrows at the guys. This is a spoiler review, you guys. She shot the 3 arrows at the guys. I breathed the word amazing and tears started falling.
So you're talking about when she says shield and then she jumps and does a turn? Yes, man. Yes. That scene, yes. That was bae. I love that. And I also love the scene with her and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because at first you couldn't hear what he was saying. And then when it started to come through, where she could actually hear what he was saying before he died, I was done. Yeah, the movie there was a lot of teared up moments, but that was a real jerker.
I didn't cry. I feel weird. Like, I'm not a crier in nature, but I overall enjoyed the film. I will say, like, one funny thing where I was just like, I didn't cry, but I was like, I cried internally because I was like, man, I kind of feel bad for y'all. It was in the beginning of the film when they show the DC comics Hallmark, and they changed it to make it look just like the Marvel Studios.
Yes. So it was like you mean all the superheroes in the back.
So like So if anybody who's listening doesn't know, Marvel was having a big issue with Fox and Sony because they have Marvel comic characters taking the same Marvel like flipping the page intro card that they do in the beginning of their films to try to low-key trick people to be like, oh, it's a Marvel film, like the Avengers. Like, no, girl, this is the X-Men. It's not written that well. So last year in San Diego Comic-Con, Kevin Feige was like, I'm tired of the fuck shit, and changed the Marvel Studios intro card to be the individual heroes, i.e. the Avengers, who have been in films past to intro the film, like every Marvel Studios film. Mm-hmm. So DC, this is the first time I've seen it, because they did not have this in Batman vs. Superman, if I remember correctly. They have a new intro card that does the same exact shit, where they show all of the individual heroes in the Justice League. So they'll show Wonder Woman, then Batman, then Superman, then Green Lantern, and then they show a picture of all of them standing together as the Justice League, and then it turns into DC films. I cried on the inside because I was like, this is definitely like a cry for help. Like,
oh, you are so funny.
We need not to do this. But I watched that. I was like, I know y'all not really seriously. Like, guys, really, we doing this? So
okay, so I thought that was just me. So that was new.
Oh yeah, no, it was new.
So that's brand new.
Okay. No, that was new.
Okay. That's brand new. That definitely was not in Batman vs. Superman, and I don't remember it being in Suicide Squad either.
It wasn't.
Wrong. So yeah, that was the first time I've seen it in a DC EU film. So I was like, y'all, like, listen, I agree the comparisons can be a bit tired, but y'all don't really need to directly bite off of Marvel Studios with this
right?
intro.
Yeah, that was definitely new. It was new, but I feel like I've seen it before at the same time. I'm trying to remember if they used it at San Diego, maybe to intro their trailers. It looked familiar, but it was the first time I'd seen it before a movie. I know that for a fact.
Did it look familiar because it looked like Marvel's?
No.
Or...
no, because it looked familiar because I was definitely like, oh, they're biting off of Marvel. But then I was like, I think I've seen this also before. But I was wondering if it was a San Diego thing, because I know that they've done that, like, you know, like they have like special intros and stuff. I
don't blame them for pulling that card though, because to be fair, like in terms of the ethos of historical characters, we're not talking about the films. Justice League is a lot more recognizable to like the mainstream community pre the Avengers films. So I get why they would be like, yo, we're gonna talk our shit and puff our chest out. But it's the same exact like way Marvel Studio did it, which is funny.
I don't know, but do you guys want to do critiques first or favorites first?
Sure. Can we do favorites first?
Okay.
Okay.
I'll start
works.
if you guys, if you don't mind. Man, so there's just like what I love about this film is that there's a specific a type of compassion slash attention to detail that I don't see in other DCEU films, which is why I love it so much. Little things like having Diana, everybody on the island have Gal's accent, which
Yes.
I thought was like super, super, super like attention to detail, and that's stuff that I enjoy. Like I don't get to
Mhm.
see that often from a film where they have everybody talk like her, not the other way around, which I thought was dope. But first of all, it would have been awkward because she's been speaking like that in Batman versus Superman. Um,
Mhm.
so that was one thing I liked. That was attention to detail. Them recreating the shield scene in Veld.
Yes.
She took the shield scene from Antiope, and that was the major scene that she did prior for her passing away. And Diana doing that, kind of doing the Passion of the Church. There's like little attention to details that I just thoroughly enjoyed.
What I liked about the shield scene in particular was not just that it was a callback to Antiope. I liked that it was Steve's idea. He
Yeah.
Yep.
remembered her doing that, and he was the one who came up with it. So I thought that was nice. It was like he remembered that detail and knew that she would know what he meant. So I appreciated that. It showed like his kind of tactical and how he paid attention. I appreciated it.
Yeah. Overall, when we're talking about, and we'll probably do a lot of this, when we're talking about versus the counterparts in the overall extended universe, this is the most color I have ever seen. And you guys said it really kind of effortlessly in the beginning. Patty Jenkins kind of de-Snyderfied this movie in this specific film. Themyscira has so many lush blues and greens that you would never get if Zack Snyder was directing and writing this film.
It was absolutely beautiful in Themyscira.
Oh my God. Like so much vibrant color. It literally lights up the screen. You get to beautifully see the different types of bronze and gold that the Amazons are wearing. Even Wonder Woman's costume, it's not the bright yellow, red, and blue that we're familiar with in the comics, but it's still brighter than what she wore in Batman versus Superman. And it's probably be brighter than what it is on Justice League. So like, even that, it's muted colors, but the colors pop on the screen and even popped on the posters that they were doing for the marketing. Just everything about it was so uniquely centered a woman, so uniquely centered women, and overall like told a voice to a woman director, which we don't get a lot of. That was just uniquely Patty Jenkins that I just enjoyed it, man. I just really enjoyed it.
I think what I like the most about it, so I didn't grow up reading the comics. I got into the comics much later in life. My first introduction to Wonder Woman was Linda Carter, the reruns, because the first airing was a little bit before I was born and right around the time I was born. But growing up in Gary, Indiana, and I just fell in love with Linda Carter and her Wonder Woman because it was the only female superhero I'd ever seen. And she was strong, but she was sweet and kind at the same time. And I just loved it. So I'm probably unreasonably happy about this movie. I'm unreasonably happy that it's not Snyderfied, as we like to say. But it was just wonderful that the kid in me from 30 plus years ago finally got to see her hero on screen. And not just see her hero on screen, but kicking ass in a way that they couldn't do because of budget and training and how women appeared on television in the 70s. And disclaimer, I liked Man of Steel. And I still like Man of Steel. I know not everyone in the room likes it.
I liked it. I like
it.
Yeah, it's just me. She knows it's me.
I mean, I like it. It's good.
Thank you for, respecting my privacy, though.
I didn't know it was just you. I thought maybe someone else on the call didn't like it. But the thing I like about Lord Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman is that you have these one is a goddess, one is a godlike person. And so even though you have a villain for them, in my mind, with those two characters, they are never fighting just one individual. It's always about an internal battle. For Superman, it's like, I have all these abilities and I can hear all this suffering. But because I'm one person, I have to make a choice. I have to make choices. And how do I make those choices? So it's always that internal battle. And even in this movie, people were like, well, the villain seemed kind of weak. And I'm like, but this was always about Diana's journey, figuring out who she was, figuring out how that fit in the world. How does she carry out who she feels she is as a person and what she feels her duty is to mankind, and reconciling what she learns about mankind from what she was taught in books. So that emotional maturity. So I just love that they were able to capture that, but not in a way that is always done. It wasn't like, I read an article, and I don't know if it was from your site, Joy, that it was like when she landed and her thighs jiggle, because women's thighs jiggle even when they got muscle. And it was like they let that happen. And that is something you don't see. You didn't see a bunch of cleavage bound people, women on this island. It was just so respectful and beautiful. And I'm not talking about respectability. If you want to show your boobs, that's fine. But the fact that you have women being represented in complex and nuanced ways, which we don't get from movies in general, but we really don't see in superhero movies a lot. We just, so that was just a good feeling. And to watch that for 2.5 hours that didn't feel like 2.5 hours was an even better feeling.
Oh yeah, I can tell you some of the things I loved. If we can go back to the attention and detail. So of course, I'm a Black woman. I'm checking the Black women out, right? And the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, they got these really pretty Black women. I will say this. I know that all the Black women, all the women of color spoke the most. Like out of all the Amazons, it was the women of color that spoke the most. So that was really cool to me. But when I went back and watched it the second time, that's when I noticed the hair. So they had one girl there that had a natural hairstyle. That was dope. Then you had another one that had a creamy crack kind of hairstyle. That was dope. You had dark skin, you had light skin, you had medium tone Black women. You had some that were thicker than others, some that were more muscular, some that were more slender naturally. So they did a really great job, covering the spectrum of women of color. That's certainly one thing that I noticed. When the Amazons fought, their fighting skills were amazing. But more than that, I loved how they highlighted how the fighting skills would go from like slow to fast. Do you remember that? Where it would like speed up?
Yeah.
That was so dope. I love that. I loved how the Amazons, when they were fighting, they were working together, which if you watch Diana later on, she's inspiring the men to work together with her. So it all kind of fits together. I like that part of it. The costumes were so fantastic. Like the golds and the bronze, their outfits were meant to fit them, but they had a purpose. Do you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like they were functional, right? Like they weren't just these sexy outfits that these women wear because they're hot. It wasn't like that. It was, okay, they wear short skirts with slits in them so that they can do their jumps, or they can get on their horses, or they can, turn around backwards and throw 3 arrows at 3 different individuals. You know what I mean? So I love that part of it. I will say this, the most important thing to me on this, watching this movie, I'm a girl that loves nerd movies, right? So, I watch everything that's, superhero action related. I already knew I was going to see Wonder Woman, right? But I didn't know that I needed to see Wonder Woman. Right? Like I didn't know that it would affect me like that. Like it just made my soul happy to see Wonder Woman, to see a woman, killing the game. Like she was whooping straight tail out there. And I didn't realize that I needed to see that because, we've never really seen that before. So to have a woman who represents me somewhat on screen it was phenomenal to me. Like I could just sit here and watch that movie over and over again. To me, that's the most important part.
For me, so my experience with Wonder Woman is very limited. I obviously know of the Wonder Woman show, but I was too young to watch it. And then she's just this figure, but I never read comics with her in them because I'm more of a Marvel person. So I never read Wonder Woman comics. I knew who she was, obviously. So it was just like, you always see Wonder Woman stuff, but I didn't really know anything about her until about a year ago. A friend of mine, who he became my friend because of this. He's actually just this guy that I met in the comic book shop. And he is a huge Wonder Woman fan. And I was looking at the hardcover, the new kind of, it wasn't the rebirth, but it was like a reboot of her origin story. Mm-hmm. And he was just like, and I was like, oh, I don't know if I'll get it today, I'll wait next week until I get paid or whatever. And he was like, no, you should read this now. And he bought it for me. And like, we became friends after that. It's just like a super sweet guy. His name is Scott. And I just remember reading it and being really impressed by, I always thought of Wonder Woman as like just this Amazon kind of warrior and not really thinking about what she stood for. And I thought this movie really drove home what she stands for. And what she stands for is truly love and justice and doing the right thing, even when it seems hard. And this movie kind of highlighted that. They made her be, as someone who's come into the world of man, they made her be naive but not stupid. You never felt like she was being taken advantage of. There's that whole trope of born sexy yesterday, like the woman who's naive and the guy has to show her the world. This didn't feel like that, even though that's what it was. It didn't feel like, there was never a point where I was like, oh, Steve is just trying to get in her pants. Or Steve is the guy that she's with because he's the only guy that she knows. It's like, he had to kind of prove himself too. He had to prove why he was like somebody that Diana would be interested in. I didn't ever feel that this was about him having to teach her. Like, even though she learned from him, it didn't feel like he knows everything and she has to catch up to what he knows. It's like, no, he has to learn some things too. He has to figure it out along the way as well. I just really loved it. And that moment at the end, when she says it directly to Ares, like, I believe in love, that was the other second moment where I just broke down in tears. Because I was like, that is exactly what Wonder Woman stands for. And I don't think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of people know who Wonder Woman is, but I don't think a lot of people really know what she stands for. No,
I would agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't. I wasn't a Wonder Woman kid at all. So, I didn't learn a lot about her until this movie. I still haven't read the comic books, so no, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And they don't ever come out and say it either in the comics or in the film. But like when she has that moment when they're in the boat and he's like, so you've never been with a man, and so do you know about sex, and basically, and she's like, yeah, so I do know some things about sex, and I've pretty much concluded that men are only there for reproduction, dude. It's not that deep.
That was cute. That was cute.
I was like, basically what she's saying is she has experienced pleasure, but she did not get it from a man.
Which was greatness. I love that part. I also like the fact that they made Steve a hero in his own right? Like he didn't save her. I swear to God, there was a spot. You remember when Ares was about to stab her with the knife?
Mm-hmm.
Inside of the tower? I swear to God, I thought somebody was going to come in there and save her. I was going to be so mad. But, like, no one saved her and no one saved him.
Yeah.
So he was a hero in his own right, and I respected that choice. Like, you could tell it was done by a woman because that's how women think. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really liked how they did his character. I guess he's the impetus. I guess he's the impetus to who she is now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah.
Well, I think she was always going to be who she is like somebody who believes in justice and all this other stuff. But I think what he taught her is that humans don't have to be perfect for you to believe that they can be perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Because, we're trying. We're all out here trying, except for old man Trumpito. We're all trying to be better.
Right.
You had to bring Voldemort, didn't you?
Voldemort?
I had to. I was like, humans are trying. And I was like, but he's not. Like, him, no, actually he's not. But we're all trying. And I appreciate, like, she had to figure out that it's okay to fight for us, even if we're not under the sway of whatever. It's okay to still fight for humans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Any other favorites?
Another favorite thing for me was the fact that they didn't ignore the elephant in the room when you have two men of color on Diana's squad. I loved the interaction with her and
the racism. Oh yeah.
Well, that and the fact that my man was like, he explained to her like, well, yeah, my people were destroyed. She was like, well, who destroyed your people? He was like, his people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just did the head nod to the white man. He was like, the white man.
Mm-hmm. I love that part. Yeah.
And the fact they spoke Blackfoot, and I know that was something that was really meaningful for members of that tribe to hear their native language spoken in a blockbuster film in such an intimate way. So I love that. I love the fact that Samir was like, this is what I wanted to do with my life, but hey, look at the skin. So this is what I have to do with my life because this is the world we live in. And just how that, it wasn't preachy, but it was giving her the information she needed to know for the world she was entering.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that. I assume they fucked. Like, I assume Steve and, I'm sorry, wasn't I supposed to be crude?
You must not listen to us. We can get along.
Right.
I was about to say, you've never listened to my show, if that's the case.
No, so I loved that Steve and Diana fucked, and that they were just like, all right, well, they didn't acknowledge it afterwards.
It wasn't a big thing.
It wasn't a big, like, literally the next scene is them getting ready to mount the horse to head over to the gala, and Diana is like, tells homie who the drunk dude, like, well, who will sing for us? And so they're singing while they're trekking over to the gala to infiltrate it, to get to Ludendorff. I like that they just didn't acknowledge it. The only acknowledgement that we even have that they have a romantic or emotional connection is when it's Steve that kind of initiates it and says, I love you. Which I just thought that was very adult. And I think, again, it's little nuances like that where even though a man wrote the story, you have a woman director. So little intricacies like that where it's just like, she's not going to be like, so that happened or anything stupid like that.
Yeah. The morning after shy coyness that would be written had this been directed by a man, they would have put that scene in there.
Right.
Or even turning off the light. You remember the light in the window?
Right.
Yeah.
I was so happy they didn't do that either. Yeah.
But even stuff like that where it's just like, yo, just because I'm getting my rocks off does not mean like I still can't focus and do my job the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Even as a superhero is stuff that I appreciated. And even like, cause you guys mentioned in terms of that they might have been alluding to her being canonically bisexual. I didn't view it as that, but now thinking about it, I was like, I can see I thought it was more of a joke of the guys are useless when it comes to pleasure. They're just there for reproduction. But it also could have been a kind of little wink, nudge to the fact that Wonder Woman is canonically bisexual, which would make sense because she was born and raised in an island full of women who probably definitely had romantic interest in each other. So I just enjoyed kind of just little nuances like that has an attention to detail that makes it more believable. It reminds me of the women that I know, like little aspects of them.
Mm-hmm.
This movie was not for the male gaze, and it is amazing what happens when a movie is not designed for the male gaze. It's amazing the quality of just what you were just talking about, Joy. Just, we know these things, but they didn't throw in a scene to women being intimate. Not that there's a problem with that. There's not. But putting this in the hands of a man, it wouldn't have been handled with any level of intimacy or romance whatsoever. It would have just been there just to say, yeah, we had two women hooking up.
Right, but
that's what they
I think we're all in agreement though. I want some woman loving. Like, get me back on the island. I do. No, I'm serious. Like, get me back on the island. I want Diana to have a female bae. Like, what do we got to do? Like that.
No, I hope that they do a prequel and they do Robin Wright in the prequel because yes, because she was such a badass. Like, I'll be honest, I was so confused between my white women for a moment there because the mother and the sister look so much alike to me.
Okay,
I kept saying,
that was one of my
Robin
things.
Wright?
I thought because of how it was marketed and of who was doing the interviews and stuff, I thought that Robin Wright was playing Hippolyta the whole time.
See?
Whole time. So then when I got into the movie
Mm-hmm.
and there was like a close up and I was like, wait, she's not Hippolyta. I was so confused this whole time. Like with the dolls and everything. I just assumed that was Robin Wright.
Well, to be fair, Robin Wright she's the bigger name versus Connie Nielsen. Mm-hmm. I find it interesting that they didn't make Robin Wright the mom, but I'm not gonna lie, I like her as bloodthirsty Antiope though.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want her to be the mom. I loved her like that. I love that she had scars on her body. Like,
yes.
That was so good. I was like, yes, she looked ripped.
She was ripped. Yeah.
I mean, Robin Wright is normally a toned person. If you've seen her in House of Cards, I mean, she's always been in shape, but she looked like she went to the mattresses and just I'm just like, she working out with
51 years old. That woman is 51 years old.
I'm working out with Dwayne Johnson. What's going on?
Well, not even that. Like, these are also women who, you know, because they're Amazons, obviously they're gonna have makeup on because it's still a high production film, so you do need a certain amount of makeup on. But you visibly see Robin Wright's wrinkles. You see Connie Nielsen's wrinkles in her face, and there's nothing wrong with that because they are older women. But the fact that you have older women doing combat scenes, especially in a place where Hollywood, they have a big ageism problem, even little nuances like that matters. They gave two 50-year-old women an opportunity to play with swords and fucking arrows and act a double damn fool on an imaginary island. That's a big deal.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Yeah, those scenes were so excellent. I don't think I've ever seen fighting scenes between women better than that. I don't think I have.
It was a combination of, they had a very fluid kind of hand-to-hand combat style, but then also the archery. Like, it was just everything. And there was a strength to it. Like, I always think of, what's her name that plays Agent Carter?
Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell. She said before that Peggy comes from a certain time period. She's also a thicker girl, so she just is brute force. So Peggy Carter's gonna hit you over the head with a chair and then fix her lipstick and keep it moving. And I like that Wonder Woman. These women, they grew up on an island. They were trained. They're like, we can fight from far away. We can fight from up close. They were just amazing.
Like, how you want these hands, basically.
Right. Because you finna get these hands. Now, how do you want them, though? Yeah.
Right.
So good. So good.
Yeah.
I think the other thing I appreciated, too, was that we got a taste of what we were going to get from Diana's fighting style in the only 10 minutes of BVS worth watching.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to shade that movie every chance I get. Anyway, but And it didn't disappoint because it's like, dang, if she gets smacked upside the face by Doomsday and laughs it off and like, let's go, what are we going to get in her movie? And sure enough, they gave us just amazing. She fought smart, but she was still fierce. Oh, I just love this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have to get into the critiques, though, unfortunately.
I know. I'm sorry. I was just like looking at Gal Gadot's face, and I'm like, oh, she's amazing. She's so cute. She was adorable in this film.
But I'll be honest, I don't have a lot of critiques. Y'all do?
I have a few.
I have two. I
have one.
I have one,
but that's really it. If I could, I'd like to say mine.
Okay.
Sure.
Dr. Poison. Now
that was mine.
Yeah, because
that was rolled into mine. Yes.
Okay. Now my only wish for this film was that Ares was not the main villain. I wish that it was Dr. Poison. I mean, Dr. Poison was kind of the way they wrote her. I didn't like it. I do like the fact that there was a female villain because that never happens. As if there's not female villains out there. Come on. But I wish that, I mean, she was just a throwaway character to me. Like, she didn't mean a lot. I mean, Ares was a good villain. Like, his last scene, especially when he went through the fire and he used his finger to mark the line on his shield, on his face shield. That was dope. But I really wish that she fought Dr. Poison. Or that Dr. Poison was more of a viable villain, I guess.
Yeah. For me, it wasn't that I wish that they fought. I wish that they talked to each other. It was really weird. After I got out of the movie, I was like, wait, did they speak to each other? Because you have Ares giving that whole speech where he's, talking about the humans and da-da-da, and go ahead and crush her. And I'm just like, but she never actually says anything to Wonder Woman. We don't know why her face is the way it is. We don't know why she is developing these things. Why she's on the German side versus on we don't know any of these things about her. And especially as being the main other woman, I would have loved for Diana to just ask her why she's doing what she's doing. Because so much of what Diana gets from the world of man is men and their perspectives. And we very rarely see her interact with any other women other than Etta Candy, who's obviously a good person. So, like, I would love for her to, like, talk to a woman who's quote-unquote evil and ask her why.
And you know when it would have been perfect for her to do it? When she was holding the bus or whatever she was holding above her head. Yeah. If she had been asking her why, then, like, yelling at her why would you do this? That would have been interesting. But they just, I don't know. I just didn't like that character.
It was a missed opportunity. I believe that she might appear in a sequel, and we might get more of that backstory. I'm okay with them not loading too much of why Dr. Poison looked the way she did, but I do agree that it made very little sense that the only other woman truly that she encounters that has some part of a role in her mission being here, she doesn't say two words to. That doesn't align with the character.
Mm-hmm. And that actress is amazing too. It was a waste of that actress. She was in The Skin I'm In, The Skin I Live In, the Pedro Almodovar film. She's amazing Spanish actress.
Yeah, I would say my first critique kind of rolls into that, and it's an overall. I wouldn't even say the first one is a critique per se, or more of like a room for improvement. And I think it's obviously like the diversity part. So we get majority of our diversity loaded in the first, I say third act, like first act of the film, which is in Themyscira. You do see women of color. There are scattered about fighting. Some of them do have lines. It was just really good talent that they had that didn't say any minimal. And a lot of the focus in terms of the Amazons in general were really on Hippolyta, Antiope, and Diana. None of the Amazons got a lot to say, period. But the fact that the women of color also roped into that is unfortunate, because that's really the only time you see women of color. Now, whether or not they do for the sequel, Diana comes back to Themyscira, I don't know. I know a lot of people are calling to have Nubia involved. I don't know, honestly, where you would fit her. Not saying that she's not an important character in the ethos. I'm saying her backstory and how she kind of comes to life is kind of bullshit and very racist for the time that it was in. So you really need to like start from scratch, and I think you can do something dope with it, where maybe since Diana's been gone, she's been the leader of she's been taken up with Antiope's role, and she's now the new leader of like the warrior Amazons who fight or whatever. Like, I don't know what that looks like, and they have room for improvement for the sequel, but I knew coming in we were going to get probably a lot of Themyscira, and I was right. I hope that they rectify it, or she interacts with modern women of color in the sequel, however they see fit, but they have a room for improvement for that. Another thing about the diversity part is, and this is something I missed until I spoke to one of my friends about it, is that Dr. Maru, so Dr. Poison, is canonically Japanese in the comics. So she in the original like beginning of her like experience in the Wonder Woman film, in the Wonder Woman comics, she's Japanese. New 52, which fucked up a lot of things, turned her to a Russian a blonde-haired blue-eyed white woman. And then in Rebirth, they changed her back to Japanese. So, but majority of her time ever on paper, she's been Japanese. They casted a white Hispanic woman to play Dr. Poison. And I know she has a mask on, and I didn't realize it. But I was like, that could have been an Asian woman. It felt like she was doing much in the first place. Like, can we keep it a little bit to canon in that regard? Just little nuances like that where I was just like, this is room for improvement, right? And I agree. Personally, I didn't think we needed Ludendorff. I don't know why Dr. Poison couldn't do what Ludendorff was doing. Because she was the one who was building the bombs. If you remove him from the equation of the story, like, she could be the one that's still losing her shit because her book got stolen. She makes the little pill capsules for herself. She throws the bomb into the group of Germans who are trying to do the peace treaty. Like, you could have done the same exact story without Ludendorff, so I didn't see the need for him to be there. And he's not in the comics. He's a real general in World War II in real life that they just threw into the story. Yeah. So
Can I interrupt you there, though? That line was funny. I shouldn't have laughed. When she threw the thing in and he threw in the mask, and she was like, well, that won't work. He's like, but they don't know that. I did.
And they started laughing. Right, yeah.
And they laugh so hard they show teeth. Yeah. Really?
It was funny. I'm like, they are rude as hell.
They are rude as hell. So, yeah, just things like that where it's just like, you could have just had her do the villain stuff. And I agree with everyone involved where it's like, the fact that that's the only person that Diana interacts with outside of Etta, and Etta has very limited screen time too. It's just like, it's pretty much man heavy, which I guess what they were trying to show is like the juxtaposition between what it is being on all women island versus an all man's modern world or whatever the fuck. Like, I get it, but like, come on. The second thing that I had an issue with, and these are the spots where I was like, somebody who's doing the visual effects is probably a dude, and I think this is where Snyder's hand was in, were some of the fight scenes. Because I personally didn't like the slow-mo a lot, but there were a lot of, the fight scenes that I say in the second half had a lot of hair flipping. And I don't know, like, even the No Man's Land, like, No Man's Land, when you get from the middle to the end, dope. When she starts walking up the little ladder, and starts doing the Beyonce at the first Super Bowl catwalk, which I love, but I don't necessarily need that in my Wonder Woman movie. I was just like, dog. Like, it was just like that slow motion catwalk, and then like you have the bombs going off behind her. I was like, okay, guys, nah, come on. And there were some women who sat next to me who were laughing, and that was just looking at them like, it's kind of funny how it looks. But once she got like the shield out, I was like, all right, we back in business. Yeah. But just certain way of how they film the scenes. And then also, like, it goes along to the lines with what we were talking about, the budget early on in our conversation. They could have used more budget for that CGI, man.
Yeah.
Some of that
There
CGI.
was some CGI moments. There was some funky
some of that
CGI moments.
CGI in that third act, they could have used some extra money.
Yeah,
Oh,
there was a
Yeah.
little bit.
and
But I will say that walk on No Man's Land, when she came up the steps, I just think the reason why they did that is because that was a true Wonder Woman moment, right? So like that's who Wonder Woman was, and that's how I took it. But I guess I could see where you would kind of find it corny, because I guess that's
Right,
what you're
but
saying, right? Yeah.
whether or not I can see them, to your point, like I can see them trying to take a little bit of that. It was very 70s Wonder Woman, right? So a lot of 70s Wonder Woman has that like flair of dramatics that is like her kind of like ethos within pop culture. You know, the spinning, like a lot of the stuff that she did was had a flair of the dramatics. Whether or not they were calling towards that, whether or not they thought that was just a good intro, it's fine. And whether that might have been something that Gal freestyled and was like, "Oh girl, I'm just gonna give you all this Beyonce catwalk." I was listening to Formation before y'all said action, and I was like, "Oh, I just want to do it." Like I don't know what it
Yeah.
was.
No, that was definitely Snyder. That was Sucker Punch. That was uh BVS at points whenever, he does that like Superman as Jesus thing. It was very Snyder, and so was that ending fight. Basically, once they start flying and throwing punches at each other, I do kind of tune out a little bit. It's a bit much.
Yes, it's not as strong, and I'm not one of those people who are like, "Yo, the villain." Like, so we've been comparing a bit to DCU. I don't think it does it justice because I think Shauna, you said it. The bar is so low. I think it bodes well to comparing it to a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie because it follows the same exact beats to a T. In my opinion, when I watched it, I was like, this is very formulaic on how a Marvel film is formulaic, which kind of makes sense because Patty Jenkins was supposed to do Thor 2, so she must have been able to at least fit in the ethos to be in the consideration.
Wait, rewind. What?
Yeah, she
Yeah,
was going
Patty
to
Jenkins
do.
was supposed to do. She was going to do Thor
originally.
2. She was originally going to do Thor 2. That is correct. Yeah. So like stuff like that, where I was just like, yo, these beats are Marvel to me. Like I recognize these beats. That third act, I was like they needed better CGI. Sean, I agree with you. It was so Snydery, the CGI, kind of how the fighting was in that third act.
It turns really dark, which I think is a CGI trick. Like, we're just gonna put everything in darkness so we don't and it was like,
You're not feeding any money into it if it's dark.
Right, like one of the things I love about Diana is outside of her just being a badass bitch, like she can fight. She is trained since early childhood, to be a combat hand-to-hand fighter. So like when I'm looking at like let's say a Captain America Civil War with Black Panther, for example, you can't tell me Diana can't do similar fight scenes of full body, like agile movements similar to what T'Challa is doing. She has that similar type of training where you can give me a full body shot that's not up close on certain parts of her body or is not super CGI heavy. Let Diana do what she knows how to do. Let Gal know what knows how to do. Because Shorty was training and she's in the goddamn Israeli army. Like, she knows how to fight. Let her just put the camera on her and let her kick some ass. Like, that's all I need in my type of like Wonder Woman movie. Like, I like a bloodthirsty Diana. When Diana was in Batman vs Superman and Doomsday snatched her across the screen and she like got up and did that smirk and jumped in. I was like, see, that's that bloodthirsty, jaded Diana that I like. Like, that's the shit I like petty Diana. So I want more of that for the sequel.
That smirk was all of that in BVS.
Yeah, that smirk that got me. I was like, oh yes, I am here. I remember that being the point where I was like, oh, this movie is interesting. And then she went off the camera, and I was like, "Oh, okay." So
exactly.
That's the time that she's like, I was with Gal, like even like when she came on screen in the beginning. But that smirk, I was like, yeah, no, I'm believing in you. This film like solidified. But that smirk, I was like, no, that's my Diana. My Diana is all about peace and humanity, and she loves love, but she's never gonna back away from a war. And if she can kick somebody's ass on top of that, she'll be like, oh, hey girl, sign me up. Like, that's my Diana.
Same. That scene in BVS, I was like, okay, I'm ready for Wonder Woman. I wasn't sure when I heard she was cast at first because the only experience I had with her was as that wafy little thing in Fast and Furious.
But she was still kicking butt in Fast and Furious, though. Don't.
but she was just tiny, and
Shanna.
I'm a Fast
Shanna
and
was
Furious
raised on
stan.
this.
I am a Fast and Furious stan, so don't
I
even.
know.
I love me some Fast and Furious.
But yeah, she showed up and showed out in BVS, and I'm like, fuck this movie, but bring on Wonder Woman. And it did not disappoint.
Yeah.
Not a bit.
I guess I forgave the third act just because I love the movie, but I also forgave the third act because even though she was looking for Ares, I never considered Ares her true adversary in this movie. Again, for me, it was always about this internal reconciliation with her about what she knew, what she thought she knew of the world versus what she actually knew and the decision she would have to make as a result of it. I do agree that the CGI was a little muddy looking.
Yeah, it's gummy.
It is very gummy, which is probably also why they had a nighttime scene. But like I said, I forgave it because the characters and the character development was enough that it wasn't just shit on top of shit. It was just a little bit of poop in an otherwise wonderful movie. So
I would say the third act, and I can forgive it too. I think I would be remiss not to mention it, but I forgave the third act as well, and I agree with you because these are things that I don't think are Patty's fault. So see, here's the thing about simple things called money. When you give a woman-led film more money, as much money as you gave your shitty Batman versus Superman film as a budget, you can do things like a nice CGI scene where they don't have to get real frugal with it towards the third act.
yeah.
So
Imagine.
when you give her,
Imagine that, giving money. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, imagine when you give a woman-led film literally the most recognizable global female superhero of all goddamn time. Debate your grandma. That's the truth. Like, you're gonna give her peanuts as a budget versus your shitty other movies. And then when people are like, bruh, hey, that CGI wasn't looking like great, it's the truth. But it's like, I don't blame them. Like, Snyder's name, both him and his wife were both attached to producers, as well as Zack Snyder's name was on the story. And they did have a lot of people do rewrites kind of throughout the film. So I do see his hand in the pot. Like, I'm hoping that the next film that's not Snyder directing is, I think, Aquaman.
Oh, we could smooth sail over Justice League and just give me Aquaman.
Oh, no. Listen, and, to Shauna said it early, like, that what's happening with the Snyder family is absolutely terrible. Even with the changes in directors and having Josh Whedon take over, I don't think it's going to do it much good. I think it's kind of probably going to be still a good chunk of what it got left off as. So I still don't have a lot of hope because I can just like sense on social media people were getting a little optimistic, like, oh, Whedon is there, he'll save it. I'm like, I want y'all to get your hopes up now.
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah. No, right.
Unless they go back and do, I'm already hating on this movie. I'm like, unless they go back and do a ton of reshoots and redesign the Flash suit, I don't see.
Listen, there's a lot of things. Listen, I've been saying this. Cyborg looks like balled up aluminum foil. When y'all gonna fix my man up? He look crazy out here, bruh. Like, when y'all gonna fix my man up?
You know who he looks like? He looks like homeboy from Supergirl, Hank Henshaw.
Not Phantom of the Henshaw.
Yes, with that little crumpled piece of metallic whatever they got over his face.
And if y'all think that the fight scenes are a little too much in Wonder Woman, like some of the critiques that I had, y'all gonna be sorely disappointed in Justice League because they got her doing a lot of that hair flip fighting in the trailers. She's not a big presence in these trailers, so I have a feeling that it's gonna be the Diana, not the Diana, it's gonna be the Aquaman Flash show in this film.
On the other one.
It's business.
But yeah. Oh, I figured we were gonna pause because somebody was taking their call. But yeah, like I don't have a lot of I think that we all are in agreement. I don't have a lot of hope for the Justice League film. And another thing, listen, the next time y'all gonna have a person of color on screen for the DCU is Aquaman. After that, it should be Cyborg. Let me tell you something. If y'all keep casting these white folk to be Aquaman's kinfolk and love relationships, y'all can keep it. And if y'all don't give my man Cyborg a legitimate budget so y'all can rectify that CGI, which is a big sore spot for DC comic book films, y'all can also keep it. I don't want it.
I'm going for Jason Momoa. Look, that's happening. But
We
other
know.
than that,
Oh, we know.
like,
I'm with you. And you should go, because I think that's dope that they casted someone who was like Pacific Islander. I think that's mad dope. But you can even tell that they're doing some fuck shit. Like Injustice 2, that Aquaman is still blonde hair and blue eye, and my man got similar tattoos on his chest, shirtless, that Jason Momoa has on. I agree. I don't understand why he's not the prototype, but like I kept noticing that they kept casting white people to be like his brother, and like Nicole Kidman was supposed to be his mama, and then you had Shorty. Yeah, Shorty was I don't know her name, Amber Heard. Amber Heard. It's supposed to be Mira. I'm like, okay, so when y'all going to cast any Pacific Islander people? None.
yeah, I was really surprised by casting for Aquaman. I just don't understand. You have Jason Momoa. Why would you not cast around him?
Right.
That would be common sense.
He's proudly Pacific Islander. What are y'all doing?
Yeah, I didn't understand the Amber Heard casting. I didn't understand that at all.
But additionally, if you even notice in Justice League, they got his tats covered up like shit in that armor, which makes no sense to me.
They did cast. They cast Tim. I'm gonna mess up his first name. Themyscira Morrison. No, as his father. Oh. They cast the guy who did the voice of the chief in Moana, and he's Boba Fett.
He's Jango Fett. He's Jango Fett from the prequels. And if anyone watches Spartacus, he's the original Doctor in the Gods of War. It's the second season on Netflix.
Gods of the Arena, yeah. So they did cast him as his father, and then they also cast the guy from the Get Down. I'm not gonna butcher his name either.
Oh wait, okay, they did. Oh, so they did cast. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
He was just in Baywatch, which I also saw this the week before, and it was great. I enjoyed it immensely. So he plays Cadillac on the Get Down.
Okay, real quick, it looks like the still images. I was wondering about that. The still images I've seen of Jason Momoa as Aquaman, he still has his tats.
No, he does, but like in Justice League, the trailers, he's wearing armor.
Oh God! Oh yeah, you're right. Ew.
That man just needs to be shirtless. I mean, why not capitalize on that?
Here you go.
Why else would I spend my I am not trying to see this man shirtless.
Why
point to the live?
Why? Yes. Why am I going to this movie for not to see Jason Momoa shirtless? Why am I here?
I mean, valid.
Yeah, Mark John said it best. Y'all know why I'm here. You know why.
Look. So you talking about in that scene where the water is splashing up behind him? That would be a perfect shirtless scene. That would be a perfect shirtless scene.
I thought he was shirtless in that scene.
But he has on a jacket, I think.
Yeah, he has something on.
He has like a tank top. I'm like, now I'm looking at
I'm not for research purposes.
I know everybody's like now. Everybody's googling.
Like, wait a minute, let me look that up again. Hold on.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking at these pictures of like the group. First of all, yeah, Cyborg still looks like a Reynolds wrap, and then you got Aquaman in this full ass armor with no shirt on. And again, y'all got that. Like, why is my man not? He can have pants on, I guess, but like, take his shirt off.
There you go, babies. He ain't got no shirt on.
Yeah, no, I'm watching it right now.
Because I'm playing it right now, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. No, okay, but you should see his back. See, that's some bullshit. I don't appreciate that.
No, I'll take the front. No, I'll take the front.
I'll take either. I'll take the front, back.
Front. What are we doing?
Side to side.
Don't do this, Joy.
There's also this one where he's shirtless, but he has on the gauntlets. Which I really appreciate. Yeah, I'm excited for this movie, guys.
Wait, is that for Justice League or is that for Aquaman?
This is for Justice League because
Now, there's nothing for Aquaman
Yeah,
yet, right?
I
Not
don't
really.
think Aquaman has really started.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
want to check to make sure because I was like, now all their pictures together, that man is top to bottom in armor, which it could change. Like we got until November. God bless them. They better take advantage of these months. They got
Okay.
5 months. They
Who's
got
holding
5.
their breath for that?
Right, they got 5 months. I hope it goes well. I'm looking at the Flash suit. It's giving me like robotic lingerie. It's a lot of cutouts.
That is a Silverhawk suit if I ever saw
I
one.
hate you. Did you just say robotic lingerie? Really?
It don't have a lot of peekaboo aspects to it. I'm now looking at it. Like that's so weird.
He looks like a damn Silverhawk. I don't know if you remember that cartoon from the late 80s. He looks like a damn Silverhawk.
Silverhawk.
Yeah. Okay, I'm showing my age, but Latoya, you're old enough to know this.
Yes.
The lineup was He-Man, She-Ra, Thundercats, and Silverhawks. And it came on, for me, it was not WB, and it was WFLD 32 in Chicago. But hold on. Let me look it up.
Okay, why am I blocking this out? Because I know He-Man and She-Ra. Come on now. That's funny.
It's a bunch of bird-like creatures in space.
Now I'm looking up Silverhawk. All right.
I'm just looking at pictures of Jason Momoa now. You guys,
Okay.
I'm like we've gotten off topic. We've gotten far afield.
We have.
Well, that happens when you mention Jason Momoa.
True,
right?
True.
There you go.
So we're all in agreement that Justice League, Aquaman. We're here for Aquaman.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say, can we end the conversation on like a cool note? Because there was a convo about now that Wonder Woman is out, what are some black women characters that you would love to see have a solo film? It could be Marvel, DC, or whoever. So I think we should end on that. I think that would be awesome to end on.
Yeah.
Monica Rambeau, that would be a good one.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but here's the thing, and this, go ahead, whatever, be mad at me. There are very few black female superhero characters that I feel I would want to see a whole film about.
Right, I can't blame you for that.
And the one that immediately comes to mind is Storm, but at the same time, I have no faith in a Storm film. They've messed up Storm.
Yeah, Storm with the cat.
It's like they've messed her up so many times that I feel hurt. I feel wary. So I don't know. Probably the only other black female character that I really want to see, and I'm excited we are going to see her on film, is Shuri. I am obsessed with Shuri. I love her in the comics. So I would love to see a Black Panther that's about Shuri and not about T'Challa.
I would say that no one should be mad at what you said because I don't think it's not the fans' fault. To be quite honest, as I was thinking about it, because somebody wrote an article about it, and I kind of like sat in my room thinking about it. I was like, yo, black women have gotten the short end of the stick in comics and history. Either they have unfinished stories, not really a lot of context, or they've been sidekick characters. And to Shauna's point, the only character that actually has a breadth of importance and context is Storm, and Fox has kind of done almost damn near irreparable damage. The only way I could really trust it to be done well is through some magical agreement from the House of Feige that they get Storm
the
back.
House of Feige.
Like if they get Storm and the X-Men back in a dream world, I want a tall, dark-skinned black woman, and we can start from there.
And can we not have it? Because I saw something. Folks were playing around on the Twitters with ideas for her story, and all of them seem to center on her going and being Captain Save-A-Ho. Can we not do that either?
Yeah,
right.
But can we not do that? Can we not make the black woman hero everyone's fucking mule? I'm so sick of that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another thing. Like, I think also, like, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be super on heroics. Like, I think some of the best things I remember about reading about Storm is it's similar with Diana. It's her humanity. You could do a whole story of her training one of the next X-Men to lead, be the headmaster of Xavier's school. Because she was headmaster at some point, right? Like, she used to be the leader of the X-Men. Maybe it's her doing something similar to what they're doing with the new Star Trek of, you have the master training the student, they're both women of color, and this is their journey together. Or something like you can do some interesting stuff with her. She has enough context, and you can, if you gotta make shit up, like, do whatever you have to do. But yeah, like, Storm would be the caveat. Again, if we had it back in Marvel's hands, Marvel Studios, I think you could do some stuff. But I agree. Like, I think I still want a Daughters of the Dragon TV series. I think would be my next best thing. I want Misty and Colleen just in a solo Netflix series, and I would be very happy.
I think that's great to end it on right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we need more women characters. If any of y'all say that this film was a gamble, fuck you and your lineage. Like, there are talented directors, there are talented actresses that can hold and carry a film. Apparently, this is the 7th film in 2017 to be directed by a woman, which is leaps and bounds what we've done in years past. Women are not these weird mythical creatures that don't watch comic book films and can't direct a goddamn movie. Give them money.
Yes. Give women money. I think that's what we need to end on. Give women money, because first of all, we make $1, out of 15 cents. So that's number one. And number two, it's amazing. That movie was inspiring. It was gorgeous. The parts that weren't all dark and murky. And Wonder Woman exceeded my expectations, and my expectations weren't low. My expectations were, this is going to be a good film despite DC, and it exceeded all my expectations.
Yeah,
my
same.
expectations were, better do good or I will go to California and burn the entire studio to the ground, and they did it. So no plane ticket needed for me.
It was much better than I thought it would be, and I'm very happy that I took the time out to see it. And I'm probably going to go back and see it again. Like, I really enjoyed it.
I finished buying my ticket. We're going Thursday.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out my schedule. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and having this discussion with me. I mean, we rambled about what we loved. I hope you guys out there enjoy it, us rambling about what we love. But you guys seem to. I don't know why. We're going to be at NegroCon. I'm super excited. I'm flying out all the way from California just to meet you guys. And the Doctor and LaToya will be there as well. Joy will not.
I'll be there in spirit. I'll be there in spirit. Y'all can just Skype me in. It'll be fine.
We probably will. Don't tempt us. And, we can't wait to see you guys. And also, hopefully, we'll have some other reviews of stuff coming up soon as the Doctor and I get our schedules together. We'll figure out what we're going to do over the summer. And I'm hoping that the new season of Vixen will drop on CW Seed.
Oh, that's so good. I love Vixen.
Because we covered that last year and I really loved it. So we have more stuff coming out for you guys. Even though Supergirl is over, we're still here. So we'll talk to you all soon. Thanks for listening.
Bye.